Shalom, friends. Welcome back to this week's installation of a Biselleh Torah. Vayakhel is the name of the parsha this week, and it contains many elements, but most of them are arrayed around a single idea of the Mishkan, that is to say, the tabernacle. In all of its dimensions that are given in great detail in the parsha, we're told that Betzalel, who was the artisan who made the Mishkan, did his job so elegantly that when the Mishkan was finished, it was a fitting place for heaven and earth to touch, where the people would gather to send their prayers, their misses up to heaven, and where God would in turn respond to the people's prayers, hopes, and visions in like manner. Betzalel, the name translates as in the shadow of God, which is a rather fitting name for him because when Moses went up on the mountain earlier, he received from God a vision of what the tabernacle, the Mishkan, should look like. God, as it were, showed him a picture of what the end result should be. And Moses came down from the mountain and charged Betzalel with the responsibility of making the Mishkan. But Betzalel didn't see the same picture that Moses saw. He was operating solely out of his own heart, his own soul, and he executed it with such magnificence. What made Betzalel so privy to the ideal of what God would want him to do? It's a good question to ponder. And to try to respond to that, I'd like to share a couple of stories with you. One of them is told by the Chafetz Chaim of an old man who decided in his latter years that he wanted to make a will and to make sure to leave certain things to the yeshiva and certain things to his children. He decided all of his holy books, his sefarim, would go to the yeshiva where they would belong, and all of his money should go to his children. The rabbi said, you might want to rethink that. Maybe it should be reversed. There are enough books in the yeshiva, enough holy books, that we don't really require any more there. But your children, on the other hand, they do need instruction. They do need to know which way to travel in life. The holy books would give them that instruction guide so that they would know how to navigate the next years of their life. The money, on the other hand, gives them no indication of which way to go. On the other hand, the yeshiva could use the money for the poor students that arrive at our doors and are looking for some sort of education while at the same time being able to put food in their mouth every day. The obvious answer is not always obvious, is it? The thing that we think may be the right thing to do may not. Sometimes we have to wrestle with our own ego, and the voice of the ego can be extraordinarily powerful and persuasive at times, but it may take us in the wrong direction, and oftentimes it will. It will lead us in a direction that is not particularly efficacious for ourselves or for, as I shared with the story of the Chafetz Chaim, for the intended recipients. The second story I want to share with you is one that was made rather famous by Danny Siegel about a king named King Mumbaz in the first century. King Mumbaz was extraordinarily rich. He had inherited a vast fortune from his parents, who were also monarchs. And as he had all of this money, he decided in his life that he would give all of the treasury away to tzedakah. Tzedakah being charity. His children and all the would-be recipients of the money that would otherwise be in the treasury fiercely objected. They say, "Why are you giving the money away?" And King Mumbaz said, our parents aggregated so much wealth to themselves, and they put this wealth for what use? To simply make more and more and more? I'm trying to increase the treasury of heaven, my ultimate inheritance, as opposed to the inheritance that is ultimately going to be squandered in any event. Again, I ask you to look deep down inside of yourself. Every single moment of every single day, we are called upon to make myriad decisions about everything. How we approach people, what we say, how we spend our money, how we spend our time, everything under the sun we make decisions about and snap judgments all of the time. But these snap judgments sometimes have very powerful repercussions. And I think the story of Betzalel has something to share with each one of us. Think reflect. Is this what I should be doing? Is this God? Is this what God would expect of me and from me? Am I better than this? If we can ask those questions about every decision before we actually come to a conclusion of what we are to do, how much richer will be our lives, how much better will be this world, how much more wonderful you will be.